ロデューサーなら私
That's it, I'm going to read some manga.
That Man and His Merch.
Hello and welcome to That Man, That Is Me Merch, and today we are talking about Senran Kagura, Skirt and Shadows, and is it worth reading? It's really not. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad.
Senran Kagura has been an interesting franchise, boasting numerous titles across multiple platforms. It prides itself on being ridiculous, over the top, and full of ecchi.
Senran Kagura being an absolute fantastic game series, the manga should be great, right? Well, wrong. Sadly with Senran Kagura, Skirt and Shadows, it takes away pretty much everything that we love about the series. Yes, it's got a very slight bit of ecchi, but yeah. I mean, what do you remember from Senran Kagura? For me, I remember it being over the top ridiculous, and I remember it being over the top ridiculous with ecchi. This doesn't really have either of them. It's quite a serious story about all these kunoichi kind of grown up and tackling their enemies, and I was just like reading it, I was just like, yeah, okay. That's not really what I read Senran Kagura for. And this is one of the things that I kind of was a little bit disheartened with. It kind of felt that it was like, oh yes, I love Senran Kagura, you will enjoy the manga. And I was reading, I was just like, you know what, I'm pretty bored with this. In fact, I had volume 3 on to buy because there's only 3 volumes to this, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to buy it. It's not worth it. It's actually out of print, it was going to cost a little bit more, so I was just like, no, I'm going to cancel it. And it's a huge shame because Senran Kagura is an absolute fantastic series. It's full of joy and ridiculousness, but this is just boring. It's just, like, if you take away the main parts of what makes Senran Kagura so good, you're not left with anything particularly great. The story is essentially about Hanzo National Academy, an academy that trains young women in the art of being a ninja. Yes, it's like Naruto, only with more bounciness. And this tale basically follows the original plot of the game, which I recall being a lot more fun than this. And it's just all of these nice little stories. It's just like, oh well, they're going to fight the ninja and they're going to fight them, and it's just like, yay! And then that's about it. And I was just like, yeah. Honestly, it was just boring. The fights weren't interesting. There wasn't really any etchiness. In fact, the best part of this is the covers, because look at these covers. These are absolute amazing covers, and they absolutely make the girls look fantastic. I kind of feel like there was a different artist who drew this compared to the inside of it, and that's what I kind of didn't like about it. We've seen other series which kind of follow this route where they kind of have a massively luring cover, and then once you read it, it's just nonsense. The story is basically what you've played in the game, so if you've got the choice, play the game. And it's anything amazing. I mean, I like the characters enough, but this kind of didn't make them particularly interesting. Each of the chapters kind of focuses on an individual character, but it never really goes too in depth. It's just like, this one's serious, this one likes sweets, this one's quite childish, and that's about it. And I kind of feel throughout the games we've seen a lot more interesting stuff from these characters. And while I'm aware that it's very difficult to cramp in a 20-hour game into 3 volumes, these just lacks any of the fun of it. In fact, what I would have personally preferred is if they just did some random stories. They just said, play the game in order to do it, or they just give a synopsis of the original story, and then it's just like, look, here's the girls in a swimsuit competition, here's the girls in the beach episode, here's the girls at the hot spring, here's the girls fighting tentacle monsters. And yes, you would have had the over-the-top ridiculous that we know from Senran Kagura in manga form. Instead we get, oh well, I'm going to fight you, we're going to have a really badly drawn fight scene, and that's about it. I mean, we can expect better from this series. This is a series that had a pinball game. This is a series that has a really weird, ecchi shooting game where you shoot the clothes off. But instead we just have a rather dull story that doesn't really live up to the whole Senran Kagura franchise. I mean, imagine a series where it was so full of ecchi that, and then was picked up and they removed all the ecchi and censored it. Imagine that. Imagine it being on the PlayStation 4. And imagine it being part of the Senran Kagura franchise. We don't talk about that one. And yeah, it's a low point in the franchise. In fact, it makes the recent PS4 game feel lewd as out. And if you enjoy Senran Kagura, I would suggest skip it. Use the money that you could spend on this to buy any title in the franchise, Estival Versus, or Peach Beach Splash, or the Pinball one, or the Food Wars one. Yeah, I mean, for a series that has so much uniqueness and so much inventiveness and so much ridiculousness, these are an insult. An absolute insult. To the point that I can't think of much to even talk about to even redeem it. And my motto is enjoy everything. The covers look nice and the colour spreads look nice. That's about it. That's it from me, and if you did enjoy this, please leave a like, please consider subscribing, it really helps out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.